When I was starting it and telling people, I only that's dramatic. I mainly got, I don't think this is gonna work. I don't really know how this is gonna work in Aiken. This isn't gonna work. And then when it worked, it turned to, I only then heard, well, of course it has to work. I mean, look at the business model. So it was funny, it's like when nothing was ever done like this in this area, it was gonna fail. And once they saw success, then everyone thought it was smart. So it shows that the change is scary for people, and they don't trust something different until they see, oh, it works. I like it now.
Hey everybody, it's Joshua Klein. We're back with another Entrepreneur Talk with Kneece. Allie, thanks for being here. You want to tell the people at home who you are?
I'm Kneece. I own the Alley Downtown Taproom and Whiskey Alley in downtown Aiken.
All right, so I don't know this, but you came to Aiken when you were born in Aiken. Tell everybody like why Aiken's home.
I went to USC Aiken. Lived in Texas, moved to a small town that I don't really like to claim as home. So just a small town in South Carolina.
Like it.
Went to USC Aiken to be a school teacher.
Okay.
Taught kindergarten and first grade in Beaufort, South Carolina. Then my husband's family lives in Aiken, and just some circumstances moved us closer to be around his family. So at that time in that move is when I decided I no longer wanted to be a school teacher, and taught yoga until I figured myself out.
I like it. I think it's neat I guess family was a big factor in that move, and then you went with it, and now
family and Hitchcock Woods.
Like it, which was the largest urban forest in America. It's right in our backyard. So you came back to Aiken, or came to Aiken, teaching yoga, doing a little bit of everything, whatever you want to do, make some money. So tell us, how did the idea, and really, I'm gonna give you credit for changing downtown Aiken, the tap room, get started?
So I was on vacation in Denver, Colorado, and I saw something just like it. What got my attention was I could drink what I wanted. So at that point in my life, I was super crunchy and health conscious and, bad food. No, I'm everything right. So, but they had kombucha. The problem with sometimes being healthy is all of a sudden you become a party pooper when you don't drink. But then if you go out to places, you get a different cup. You're like, oh, I'm different than everybody else. I'm all of a sudden no fun. So this place, I could go and pour kombucha, and I was doing the same exact thing. I looked the same, our cups were the same, everything was the same. So I like the idea of anybody can go there and drink, and no one really cares what you're doing. Like, you decide how much you drink, what you drink. So that was the reason I really liked it. Then I started thinking of it as a business, and is this profitable? Will this make me money? How will it work? In that aspect, it's less labor, and it's not, you don't have inventory that goes to waste because it's kegged beer. So as long as you control your inventory appropriately, you don't really have any loss of product. So business-wise, it seemed to make a lot of sense as well.
I love it. So how did you make this happen? Because it's a completely new idea. I mean, you have conservative, old school Aiken, you go to the brew pub, you grab a beer at a table, you do that kind of thing. So
yeah, it was very interesting. When I was starting it and telling people, I that's dramatic. I mainly got, I don't think this is gonna work. I don't really know how this is gonna work in Aiken. This isn't gonna work. And then when it worked, it turned to, I only then heard, well, of course it has to work. I mean, look at the business model. So it was funny, it's like when nothing was ever done like this in this area, it was gonna fail. And once they saw success, then everyone thought it was smart. So it shows that the change is scary for people, and they don't trust something different until they see, oh, it works. I like it now.
That is so true. So many different things in life. All right. So everything's set up. The changes happen in downtown Aiken because of this idea you got from a different town, brought it here. People question you, now they love you. And then now you have other businesses too, so let's talk about those. So how did this kind of roll into
Whiskey
it?
Alley was never that wasn't a plan that was gonna happen next. It just sort of fell into our lap as an opportunity not to pass up. So we knew that business that was previously there, it wasn't working out, and they were looking to just basically close the door. So it was almost like a turnkey. It wasn't we could so quickly go in, make changes to make it ours and move on. We've had a working kitchen. It just sort of fell in our lap, and I own a restaurant.
That's awesome.
Did not see that come in.
So, and I could be wrong with some of the information, so correct me if I am, but you have a partner.
Yep, Norman Dunnigan, who also owns Dumpster Depot. He is my partner in everything I do.
So how did you go about, because y'all don't run like the same age group, y'all are not the same person, not related, I don't think. So how did you go about partnering with somebody in that way?
Norman loves business. He just loves business. He loves to take risks. He loves different ideas. And I think this was something that when he ran it through what he finds valuable, it's numbers, but it works, and he loves to try new things. So I think for him it was exciting. So we had a business together before the Taproom called Aiken Organics. So that was our first time dealing with each other. And we worked together really well. And that's how, because of that partnership is why I introduced this idea to him, and then we went forward together with it.
Do you think that without him or any partner at all, could you have still done the same thing you're done today?
No.
And why is that?
I did not have the money, and a bank wouldn't have supported me because I didn't have, if it would have failed, I had nothing, they wouldn't have gotten their money back, so they wouldn't have given me a loan. I was a big risk. The Aiken Organics business I had, it wasn't really making money, so that wouldn't have mattered to the bank. I wasn't making money, so I didn't matter to it would have never have happened. The business also isn't around this area for them to look at as a structure, be like, okay, this area, it will be successful in this area. So I'm super confident I wouldn't have gotten a loan for it, and I didn't have it to do. So Norman is the reason why the alley downtown Taproom
So how about
happened.
How about the mentorship side of it? Owning a business on a real estate side, it's crazy hours. There's a lot of different things thrown your way. I'm sure in the restaurant, the tap room, and everything else you've done, it's nothing's ever the same. You got to adapt, especially with COVID.
Oh, yeah. So Norman's been a great mentor. He has Dumpster Depot, and you almost just learn by watching, and just by conversations, or he sort of just threw me to the wolves in a really positive manner. And then any time that I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, then he'd come in, I'd ask the questions. And I think for my personality, that's how I've always been my entire life. I've never been somebody that just studied something for a really long time and then decided now is the time to do it. It's sort of I'm going to do this, let's do it now.
Yeah.
Oh, what did I get myself into? Okay, now I got to figure it out. So I think that's why we worked well together, is I just jumped into the deep end.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So you're a woman, of course, and
Which in a bar,
that's what I was going to go with. Yeah.
Is
yes.
So now I guess I don't have an ego issue because I no longer care, but at the beginning I cared. Yeah. But they would come in, by they, I mean men. Yeah. And they would come in and they would say, oh, so your husband owns this place? No, he does not. He literally does nothing with this place. I do this. Shocking enough, a woman can own a bar. And then their faces, because that was my response, and their face would be like shocked that what they said was possibly offensive. And it's also typically the bar scene is more a man's world than it is a female's world, at least in like my role. Which for me has been good because I typically like to work with men more than women. I seem to get along, so that part has been nice. But the expectation that that there is a man, or I need a man in order to be successful, was super infuriating. And I had to prove, or I wanted to prove at the beginning, that I am woman, hear me roar. I did this, I don't need no man. And now I just don't care anymore.
So how are you teaching, because I'm sure like you're helping other people like talk to about other businesses, how are you teaching other women that same approach? Because it is, we're in the South, that's the reality or the situation we live in. Or how would you?
It's not something I've thought of, like how I would teach it, but I have a daughter now, and I hope that I am setting an example, or that whatever you want to do, rather, no matter what, you can do it. So I wouldn't say like I've really preached anything, but when people say something that I think is invalid or a strike against me or a woman, I try to check it and like at least let them become aware, like that's a pretty sexist opinion you have, and let me call it out, and then you can make your own internal judgments. And I've called out a lot of people, so maybe I've made some changes in that aspect to at least open their mind, like, oh, a woman can't own beer. Oh, she can talk beer, she knows beer. Crazy.
I mean, even our business with the flipping of even this house we're at right now, like Bethany dealt with that. And it's interesting, and maybe I have blinders on, maybe I'm not perfect and I just don't see it that way, but I just don't look at it. I have the 2 daughters as well. I mean, you want to give them everything in the world as possible because everybody has the same opportunity. It's all right in front of you. That's really good. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that we are transitioning in a society that we're proving that men and women can be anything. We're seeing it in all aspects, that there are more men doing some jobs that were quote unquote women's job, and we are seeing more women in quote unquote men's jobs. And I think that will transition, and I think as long as there's men and women that stick it out, that just call people out, I think eventually it'll just be like, we'll have a world where you just do whatever you want to do.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So, well, as long as you can financially handle it, but it's not because of your sex.
All right, so changing topics a little bit, you have how many employees that work for you? Roughly.
Like as a whole?
Yeah, like a rough number.
30.
How are you creating the culture? I know you got the Taproom, you got Whiskey Alley, you got Draft Society, you have the different things. How are you creating the culture to basically almost have a model how you are as a person?
So we have these things called core values.
Right.
And when you get hired on, and I would say honesty is the best policy. We do it better at the Taproom and Draft Society than we do at Whiskey Alley, because Whiskey Alley, there's the front of house and the kitchen, the back of house. And we have different people that hire, and there's, Chef Chad, who takes care of the kitchen, and I don't have any input into what he does in the kitchen. That is his baby, and he does whatever he wants. Whereas the Taproom and Draft Society, I have more involvement in the hiring process. So we have this thing called core value, and those are things that are important to me. Some of it is just normal customer service stuff, but the one that I feel like stands out that would say this is me is we have 5, right? So one of the 5, it's smiling. As Buddy the Elf says, smiling is my favorite, because there's parts of every job that's not fun. Everyone has a part that is not your favorite. In my world, toilet cleaning. I don't know many people that are like, ow, oh, let's go clean the toilet people just got drunk in and used all night. That's not a good part. But it has to be done, so it controls your attitude. It is a part of the job. You can choose to be mad and go in there and scrub that brush like it's the worst thing you've ever done, or, do it and have a positive attitude. So that's I would say the one that's more me versus structure, customer experience, things like that. I think that overflows into other things is to just smile.
Simple as it is.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I always tell people on our side of business, like, keep it simple, stupid. Like,
yeah.
It's very simple. Just give them the basics. That's all people want to have.
It's not what I thought you were saying when you said kiss. At first I was like,
no.
you don't really do that. You just smile.
Not what our core
You just smile.
No, that's phenomenal. All right, so Aiken is in growth mode. You've been a big part of the change of downtown Aiken. Where do you see Aiken 3 years from now? And what do you want to see in Aiken?
So, I'm on the board of ADDA. I also have the businesses, so people like to share their opinions about Aiken and what we're missing and what we should do and those types of things. And one thing that I am excited to see in specifically the downtown Aiken is the place for kids. I think Aiken as a whole, there's a ton of parks, like a green space, like we have things, but in specifically downtown, there's nowhere for a kid to just kind of run around. You always got to make sure they don't get hit by a car. So with this Project Pascalis, what they're doing is very exciting to see that now parents can, go into the tap room, go grab a beer, and then go play in the green space where you don't have to worry so much about where your kid is running off through. There's more space than the checkers board that we currently have. And I can't say that, I think I would have loved that anyway, even when I was just a dog mom. But I feel like I am even more excited now that I have Rhea and I live downtown. Like my world is downtown Aiken. I walk everywhere. It's exciting to see like, oh, we can go play at the fountain at night, or it's exciting to see that the downtown that she'll get to grow up in versus what's currently there. So that's what I'm probably most excited about. Personally, not so much like within my businesses, but my life, that's what I'm most excited about.
I think it's phenomenal. I think, and I'm right there with you. Like we talked about this earlier before we did all this video, was the opportunity for change and just pushing it forward and making all the red tape go away and just let's do it. Let's push forward. All right, so we'll kind of wrap this up. Is there anything you want to share first before I ask you some rapid fire questions that you're not ready for?
I don't think so. Is there something I should share?
No, I think you're good. Ready? So you ready for some rapid fire questions?
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay.
Beach or mountains?
Oh, mountains.
Okay.
Specifically lake in the mountains.
There you go. I like it. Beach at all?
In the fall. Okay. But like sitting in the sand, getting scorched by the sun, just sitting there, doing nothing,
not your cup of tea.
burning. I don't understand it.
Like it.
But the fall, walking on the beach, totally for that.
Socks or no socks?
No, absolutely no socks. Preferably no shoes.
No shoes, no socks. Like it.
I wore sandals for this because I'm classy.
We appreciate it. You didn't have to. Dog or cat?
I both, but dog. Only because I have to run and a dog can run with you, so I always have a running buddy.
There you go. And then the last one, because your husband's in a band, great band. What about drums, horns, or guitar?
Well, a guitar. A drum by itself sucks.
Just asking questions.
It's a guitar. But not because he plays a guitar, because that's good. That's biased.
I love it. Well, we appreciate you doing this. We'll actually, for Klein Cares is a part of our company, we'll actually give a donation in your name to the charity that you just mentioned. So it'll be great. So.
Oh, great. Yeah. Children's Place.
There you go. Love it. So anyway, thanks for being here today. We really appreciate it. We're all better because of it. Thank you.